Welcome back, everybody, to Hoops HD. It is Championship Week Video Notebook day number 6, Saturday, March 7th, going into Sunday, March 8th. I'm your host, Chad Short. We got David Dorman and David Griggs with me. As you probably know from watching some of these shows, who knows who else will jump on as we go through this,
Yeah.
but we're going to get going because it's late. We've already got Mike Cha jumping in, so as I said, people jump in, people jump off, but we do these shows. And let's see here. I got something pop up on my screen, but I'm going to ignore that and I'm going to go right ahead and bring up the screen share. And it is our Championship Week video notebook, and we're going to start with a quick news and note. Only one item of news and notes. That's because of last night. We're talking about the amazing run that the South Alabama women's team was making in the stairway to 7 on the women's side. It came to a crash again today. I think they lost by about 20 points to James Madison. So they only got 4 out of 7 steps done.
I've got a theory that tournament games get harder to win in the later rounds.
Uh, I got a theory, and that's that you're locked in the puppet bunker
Yeah.
still, thankfully.
Why won't you let me out? Like you and Grok are conspiring.
Uh, let's actually start like what you do with regular season games, and there were a ton of them today, and there's a lot of scores on the screen there. Um, let's try to go through these as quick as we can. But starting in the ACC, Clemson finally got a win. Virginia got a nice win. Uh,
Louisville, I think that's their
yeah,
best win of the year. It's their first road win against a team that's inside the bubble. And not only is Miami inside the bubble, they're probably in the top half of it. I think that is a seed line level win for Louisville.
that was a huge win for them. Mike, SMU laid an egg at Florida State, and at this point, I think SMU may be squarely on the bubble suddenly.
I'm thinking of having them out. I mean, they're really going ass over backwards. I mean, they're just, I would consider, like a Stanford ahead of SMU right now. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a great point. Dortmund, Stanford, the road win at NC State, and they had been like I think they'd literally been out of my bubble. I think they're back in that bubble picture with this win, are they not?
Absolutely. A lot of the bubblers have been losing all week, the last 4 days. You just turned Mike on SMU. I couldn't agree more. Uh, Georgia Tech almost beat Clemson to help the bubble to help Stanford out even more. But I'm with you, Chad. Stanford is now on the bubble and really in the picture, especially the way some of these teams are going down. Stanford, a huge road win.
Yeah,
Uh,
NC State continues to aim low and still miss. Our colleague,
Mhm.
John Stalika, in perhaps the greatest Hoops HD moment ever, once compared NC State to a venereal disease, and I think that that again applies.
Cal really needed a win at Wake, did not get it. They're gonna make some
California.
serious noise in the ACC tournament now. Uh, North Carolina, yes, they lost by 15. It was at Duke,
They were
down
down by
down.
a lot more than that. Like
But I thought that was respectable showing given that they were without their best player.
the game was a complete clunker. I changed it when
Okay.
they were down by like 20.
Oh, that was close for about 10 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I threw those last two screens out, two scores are there just for one purpose. Pitt, by winning in overtime at Syracuse, actually got the last spot in the ACC tournament. Had they lost that game, the winner of that BC Notre Dame game would have made the ACC tournament, which meant that BC almost made the ACC tournament this year. But an overtime win by Pitt at Cuse
Hey,
took it.
tickets are still available if they want to go.
And Cable still has a job for another 3, 4 days.
uh, Villanova took care of Xavier easily. Dorman, UConn goes to Marquette and lays an egg.
Laid a huge egg. Marquette played their best game of the season. They were ready for this game. They were amped up. The place was jumping. And Marquette, the whole aspect of their game was they were not going to be out hustled and out tough. And they were the tougher, stronger team today. They got every 50-50 ball. They hit a few big threes down the stretch. And Connecticut went down, and maybe their dreams of a number one seed went down with it today as Florida stays red hot.
Yes, I agree completely. I don't even know that there's really a path unless Florida gets upset badly and UConn wins the Big East tournament. And it's still going to be a tough call for me at this point because this is a bad loss by UConn. Um,
Yeah,
Mike,
I
you're
could
a
see the
Big Ten.
warning signs to be honest, because like they were barely beating mediocre teams at home, and it's like you can kind of see the warning signs that they're not really playing
But,
like a true number one seed.
Well,
but I remember
they may have cost
what
themselves a
they did to
one
St.
seed.
John's though, just like in the middle of
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
this is my thing, Mike, and I realize that the committee evaluates profiles, and UConn very well could have cost themselves a one seed, but their ceiling is still what it was before they blew this game. I don't think they're going to sleepwalk through the NCAA tournament the way they've shown that several times this year against Seton Hall, against Marquette, against Creighton. UConn doesn't show up all the time, but when they do, they're as good as anybody. I think they'll show up in the tournament as a two
Mike,
seed.
you're a Big Ten guy, Mike. Wisconsin, nice road win at Purdue. Really,
Wow, they continue to pile on the high quality wins at Michigan, at Illinois, Michigan State, now at Purdue. Uh, it's like wow. It's like every time they're a big underdog, I'm like, don't count them out. I mean, 'cause they seem to play better when they're the underdog. When they're the favorite, they don't seem to play that well.
I think you're right. Um, in addition, Dorman, Ohio State, and UCLA may have sealed up tournament bids today with their wins.
Yeah, Ohio State keeps on clunking along. Indiana laid a total egg. I think you're right, Chad. I think Ohio State is in. I think UCLA is in. I'm surprised I'm saying Ohio State is probably safe and in, but I am. I think Indiana is on the wrong side of the bubble right now, as we discussed some other teams, Stanford moving up. And I think UCLA is in. So I think the Big Ten are going to get those two for sure.
Yep, my congratulations to UCLA coach Yosemite Sam on finally getting a big road win. Um,
In the
Indiana,
same city.
yeah, in the same city though. Indiana, I mean, I'm not saying that Miami, Ohio's schedule isn't like warranted of criticism, but I do think that if Indiana gets selected and Miami doesn't, I think we need to storm Indianapolis.
Uh,
I
uh,
agree.
Griggs, we had all those upsets the other day in the Big 12, and we did not get them today. Houston, struggled a bit, but they won. Iowa State struggled early. They ended up winning going away. TCU may have locked up their tournament bid with the win over Cincinnati. Kansas
Yep.
won big. As we record this, actually, Texas Tech and BYU and Arizona, Colorado are both close. So if Arizona doesn't get together in the second half, we may have a huge upset still tonight in the Big 12. But
Well,
as we
it's kind of
record.
crazy that they're playing with their food at Colorado like that. I think while it wasn't the biggest showcase by any means, I think the most important game here was Cincinnati TCU because if Cincinnati wins that one, they're starting to get more and more close to getting inside the bubble themselves. I think that they're clearly much better now than they were for most of the season. I think they're playing like a tournament caliber team now, but they don't have a tournament caliber profile because of everything they did in November, December, and January.
Uh, Dorman, over in the SEC, there were some really fun games today. Let's go through them as quickly as we can. But Arkansas at Missouri, back and forth game, goes to overtime, and Arkansas gets a real nice win.
Yeah, huge when they hit a big three. This game was back and forth the whole way. Tight, intense, big time, high level game. Uh, Arkansas pulled it out in the end. I give them a lot of credit here. Pig Suey is playing good basketball at this time, and Vanderbilt goes on the road and they win in Tennessee. Tennessee and Arkansas both were down their awesome freshman studs today. And it cost Tennessee the win, but Arkansas still handled their business on the road. That's a big win for Arkansas.
It's a big win for Vanderbilt too. Have been slipping a little bit lately, even
Yeah.
though Under had a team, nice road win. Georgia takes care of business. Florida keeps rolling along. This time, Griggs over Kentucky.
Yeah, once again, Kentucky fell way behind and came back and made a game of it. When you get ahead of Kentucky by 20 points, you better watch out.
Mhm.
Mike, triple overtime. Texas A&M, LSU, and A&M. Uh, it's a win at the end of the day. It would have been an awful loss for them, but it's a win.
Yeah, I noticed the only one game did the home team prevail in the Texas A&M LSU. I'm like, is that football from several years ago where it went like 6, 7 overtimes? Remember, same two schools. But that's a huge win for A&M. Not that LSU is anything great, but still, it's a road win. It's a win, and A&M being on the bubble, a win's a win. Um, Auburn's in a lot of trouble. I mean, 15 losses entering the tournament, and they're not. I don't see them getting an at-large bid because they would have a 16th loss. The
Yeah,
Auburn needed to win today, and they didn't get it.
I think Auburn better be playing the SEC championship game if they want, maybe the semifinals, but I think that they need a deep run, and they're going to play in the opening round, so they're going to. It's maybe good for them. They'll get an extra game in the SEC tournament.
Hmm.
Last but not least, Griggs, Oklahoma goes to Texas, and Texas suddenly resume who had been building up is starting to fall apart a bit. A bad home loss to an Oklahoma team in overtime.
Yeah, they managed to really like step on their feet and stub their toes in that one. I still think Texas is inside the bubble, but they did not help their case today. That's maybe a seed line loss. It's like I always say, like one of the things you can't do if you're trying to make the tournament is lose at home to a team that's nowhere near the tournament, and they did that.
Uh, Dorman,
Speaking of least, how about St. Louis today?
St. Louis didn't bother showing up in the trip to George Mason today. Are they in trouble for a bid, or are they still safe?
Not
Even if
for a
they,
bid, but like this was a team that we thought was inching there. We were actually talking about them getting into the protected seed range. I don't think they would
They
have
may not be
gotten
wearing
there.
white in the first round.
Yeah,
Seriously.
but I starting to think that they're not going to be wearing white in the first round. They're going to fall down to the other half of the bracket, and I can't help but notice that all of this they started to fall apart right after I said this is a good team that's going to win out through the A10 tournament.
And watch out for George Mason next week. George Mason's playing as well as anyone in the A10. Tony Skinner has his team playing really, really good. This was a blowout. They got up 10 in the first half and never looked back. Mason played really well today.
Yeah.
okay. You may wonder why I threw a Duquesne Richmond score on the screen. These are two teams nowhere near the bubble. I threw it on there because Richmond had a 30-point lead in the first half in this game today. I believe it was 44-14. It was a domination, and Duquesne ended up with the fourth largest comeback in Division One history, coming back from 30 points down. Only four teams have ever come back from that much or more to win a game. Won it at the buzzer. That's why it's noteworthy. And wow, with all these other stories, we throw that into today as well.
Yeah.
Go watch the highlights. They had a tip-in jam to win it. It was really cool.
Wow.
Dorman, game of the year in the Mountain West. We talked about it. It lived up to it. Utah State gets the home win over New Mexico.
Yeah, Utah State came out of the gates red hot, got up 10-11 early, and in the last 5-6 minutes of the first half played terrible, kept throwing the ball away. New Mexico got a small lead at half. Then the second half, Utah State got out to a big lead again and gave it away. New Mexico had a three to tie it up with like a minute and a half to go, missed it. They played the free throw game, but Utah State prevails. Utah State wins the regular season Mountain West. And I thought New Mexico was on the right side of the bubble about 7 days ago. They've lost twice now, in big trouble.
No.
I think if they won this, they would have been a virtual lock, but they didn't, and they're not.
Yeah,
And it's hard to win at Utah State. That's why it's
Very.
not that this loss hurts them. It's that they were already on the bubble and they needed a really good win to put them inside of it.
Right. When you lose at home to Colorado State, you got to make up for that, and they didn't do that today.
Real quick for the remaining scores there. Air Force finished off their season as the only team without a conference win, unless they pick one up in the conference tournament next week. That's why the score's there. UC Irvine gets an overtime win over UC Davis. They'll wait to see what Hawaii does in the late game that's just starting right now to see who wins the Big West title or if it's shared. Liberty finally gets a win in Conference USA. They've been slipping lately. And a nice win over the number 2 seed in the conference tournament, actually, at home.
Yeah.
Yale finished off a win. California Baptist and Utah Valley both got wins. Utah Valley need double overtime. They share the last ever WAC regular season title.
Yeah.
Utah Valley will be the 1 seed when we get to the WAC tournament.
Yeah. And a big week for Utah Valley, a big win today on the road, and they've won their court cases too. So, you know.
They did the WAC field. I'm not certain if the men's field is out yet. We were just waiting for it before we started the show, but the They are in the WAC tournament fields, in the women's field, they're in it. So they are going to be playing next week. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Let's get to conference tournaments. And Dorman, let me start with you with our first champion, first conference tournament that went to a final, Tennessee State, in blowout fashion, back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1994.
Yep, Nolan Smith in his first year at the helm there at head coach at Tennessee State did an incredible job. This team hadn't been to the tournament, I believe, in 20 years, I believe, or 18 years. It was 32 years. Thank you.
Yeah.
32 years. Tennessee State is back in the tournament. They were on fire in the first half. They could not miss. I think they broke a record for most threes made in an Ohio Valley championship game. They had doubled the score 36-18 at one point in the first half. And it wasn't even that Morehead State was playing bad or did anything wrong. Literally, Tennessee State could not miss, and they could never really get back in the game. They get a great effort by Morehead State, a great year, and Tennessee State marches on. So now we'll see if they're going to Dayton or they'll go into the main bracket, maybe a 1-16 with Duke. Nolan Smith and Duke.
Yeah, Chad, you were on
Interesting subplot.
Yeah, Chad, you were on the Tennessee State, I think, before any of the rest of us were. We didn't talk a lot about them because the biggest storyline for most of the season was UT Martin. They had a really successful out-of-conference campaign. They were the most consistently good team in conference until about 3 or 4 weeks ago. But Tennessee State really is a great college basketball story this year for two reasons. First, it's always fun to see a team get into the tournament that hasn't been there in a long time. And second, they're an under the radar team whose players decided to stay together when they had the chance to move on but didn't. And you want to point to a team that made that decision and that had success. And it's just hard to not feel good about, yeah, those kids decided to stay together when they could have moved on, and look at where they are now. And they were so good over the last few weeks. You wonder why they weren't even better this year as far as their overall profile goes.
Mike, in the NEC, we had a bid clinched, even though we didn't have a championship one, because in the first game of the night, Mercyhurst held off Stonehill when LIU beat Wagner in the second game of the day. Now they'll play each other Tuesday in the championship game, but LIU, as you see on the screen there, is the automatic bid winner because Mercyhurst is ineligible. So how about the Sharks back in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I'm happy for Long Island. It's not their fault that Mercyhurst is ineligible. I mean, so no matter what happens on Tuesday night, Long Island will still get the automatic bid from the Northeast Conference. So they're playing for pride. I mean, they're playing. I mean, they're still playing. Technically, they're still playing for the tournament title, but but Long Island is in the NCAA tournament no matter what. And all that, they can just go loose. There's no pressure on them. Just go loose and have fun.
I think they're going to. First of all, we'll talk about this Monday night and Tuesday. I think they will win the game, but Mercyhurst will have fans there because there's always a designated fan section in these games, visiting section in these games. If Mercyhurst wins the game, could we once again have the double court storm? Mercyhurst to celebrate the NEC championship,
geez, that's
Long Island
right.
to celebrate the automatic bid. And remember, last time we had a team lose the NEC championship game to an ineligible team, but make the NCAA tournament, and despite that, they had a pretty good NCAA tournament. Little Fairleigh
Well, they
Dickinson
only
of
won one
Purdue
game.
story.
I mean, let's not get carried away.
Actually, they won two. They won a first four game also.
Oh, they did win a first four. My
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah, so we'll see that Tuesday night. Dorman.
And I take it there has been a double court storm in before.
No, there never's been
No,
a double
no.
score story,
Okay.
but we like to talk about it happening.
Mike, how long have you been with us? Like, don't you feel like we're full of crap?
Dorman, it was semifinal day in the A-Sun.
Oh, wow. What a day.
And they were both fairly close games, but I mean, at the end, they were both kind of pulled away, but it was really nice, though, to see Central Arkansas and Queens going now both with a chance to make the NCAA tournament for the first time ever.
Yeah, both teams will be gunning for their first spot ever in the tournament. And like you said, Chad, both teams, there was not a blowout in either of these games, but Queens and Central Arkansas was always an arm lengths away. They kept they didn't let it get to where a three at the end would have cost them a tie or overtime here. And they did a nice job. They didn't throw the ball away, either of them. They hit their free throws. They did what they needed to do. Queens done it now 2 nights in a row. This is going to be a great game. Queens is playing great basketball, and Central Arkansas has been doing it all year long in the ASUN. I can't wait for this game tomorrow afternoon. If we're going to pick it, I'm going Central Arkansas, but watch this game tomorrow. It's going to be great. I think a real tight.
I love the Central Arkansas story. I just have a feeling Queens takes this game.
Do you really? Well, the thing is, either way, it's a great story. Queens, a
Yeah.
recent transitional team, a lot of how do you not love Queens? They got that tiny arena and it's always full and it's always rocking. And they've just been so much fun ever since they came up to D1. And Central Arkansas having their best year in forever. Avetta, if you're watching, we would love to have you back because we know you're at this tournament and what a championship game that we have. And Austin P had an incredible season, and I think they finished by losing three of their last four, costing themselves the number one seed, although in the new format that didn't matter that much because it's at a predetermined site, and then going out in the semis to Queens.
Yeah, tough story for Austin P, but we got a big game tomorrow, Central Arkansas Queens. Mike, we also have championship game tomorrow in the Big South after we actually had a pair of great games, especially that Winthrop Presbyterian game.
Yeah. Winthrop, despite playing a little shorthanded, they're up big, and then Presbyterian fought back, made it a close game, and but Winthrop did just enough to hold on. And then High Point beating UNC Asheville. UNC Asheville was up at the half, and they were
They
up.
were.
They were up in the second half, but eventually High Point they put on enough of a spurt, and they did enough to win. So both games
Yeah.
were very close.
High Point sweated hard in that game, and I didn't think they would. And we've seen, has anybody else's experience with High Point been you spent all this NIL money, you have this incredible roster, and then every time I tune in, you guys underperform? I mean, that's just, they won the game, but shouldn't, I mean, this was a High Point team that we thought would blow through everybody. And if anything, we thought it would be them and not Miami that was undefeated at the end of the year against what would have been a weak schedule. Um, Winthrop, if High Point played as hard as Winthrop does, they would have not lost a game by less than 20 points all year long. Winthrop is beaten up. One of their best players is available, but he's not at 100%. If Winthrop wins this game tomorrow, I think it's one of the guttiest performances collectively throughout a tournament that I've ever seen.
You're talking Logan Duncombe. He was held to only 11 minutes today, so they were
Yeah,
actually trying to hold him out some, and with the idea of trying to play more tomorrow if they could get this win. Uh,
right.
but they had to play, I think, a little more than they wanted to. I'll throw this out there also. Presbyterian in this game had a shot at the buzzer,
They
and it
did.
was Carl Parrish who got the three at the buzzer to tie the game on Friday night to against Radford to send it to overtime. And I really thought he was going to hit one again and make it an incredible story here. But
Yeah.
we've got High Point and Winthrop, the top two teams. So I think, Griggs, I think we're for a great game tomorrow. I am leaning High Point still, though.
Oh, I'm leaning High Point. I hope it is a great game. I can't, like, sentimentally, I just want to root for Winthrop because of how hard they play. But High Point has so much talent that in a championship game atmosphere, if they do decide to show up, it might not be a good game, but I hope it is.
Uh, it was Dorman, semifinal day in
Wow.
the Valley, and we got rid of three of
Wow.
the top four seeds in the quarterfinals. So we got rid of the fourth of them today.
The Flames from Illinois, Chicago have looked absolutely incredible in this tournament. They've won now 2 games in blowout fashion. They have really played well. I love what the Flames did today. They were the most physical team on the court today. They out hustled Drake. They had a hand in the face every time Drake tried to take a three. I thought Illinois Chicago's game plan was right on. I thought the intensity was there. The Flames definitely deserve this. I know people are saying, "Oh, it's the fifth." You know what? They played great in this tournament. The Flames, I think the Flames go on and win again tomorrow over Ben Jacobson's Northern Iowa team. The Flames are red hot.
They very well could, David. And
Hmm.
how about like Rod Eashan and the job he's done at UIC?
Incredible.
I mean, it's incredible. On the flip side, Northern Iowa, they were my preseason pick to win it all, and this was a team that I thought underperformed throughout the season, but that still had a high ceiling. They have not underperformed in this tournament. So the storyline for this is the underperforming Northern Iowa against the overperforming UIC.
I'm actually going Northern Iowa. I'm going
I
to go.
am
I think
too.
USC is a great story,
I,
but
I like UIC. I love what they've done. I think Rod Eashan, a good coach, a really good coach. That's just got that team playing far better than the sum of their parts. But Northern Iowa just has too much. They were a six seed basically because they blew a lot of games they should have won.
let's jump over to the America East next, where it was quarterfinal round day, and all four top seeds held. And quite honestly, Griggs, well, I guess the Albany UMass Lowell game was close most of the game, as was the main NJIT. So we had a couple of good games.
Yeah,
Actually, we had a great finish of the NJIT game. I'm sorry, that was the buzzer
we
beater by
did.
Harry Felton.
And how about Maine, our favorite program from a year ago, really stepping up today and making NJIT sweat at NJIT?
Well, yeah, it was a buzzer beater
Yeah.
for NJIT to get the win by Fulton. Um, yeah, but Dorman, any other thoughts on these four games?
UMBC played like the top seed. They ran Hampshire out of the gym. Lowell, Albany was game for most of this, for most of the, at least the first half. They had a big lead actually. UMass Lowell went into halftime and made some adjustments, and everything seemed to work for them in the second half. They hit some big shots, got the stops they needed to at home. So that was a good showing by Lowell, at least in the second half. Um, I like NJIT and UMBC to meet up next Saturday, a week from today. Uh, this is going to be two great semifinals, though. Watch the American East on Tuesday night. Phenomenal.
Tuesday night, the Americans will be back in action. Metro Atlantic over in Atlantic City. I was there for the entire first game, for most of the second game. We only had the Quinnipiac Marist and the Siena Mount St. Mary's games today. The other two have been earlier, but uh, that Marist game, Marist came out strong. Then Quinnipiac started to take it to them. And then Justin Menard from Marist just went insane in the second half, started nailing down these threes. The game ended with Marist block by Dowtree to seal the deal. It was just one of the better games I've ever been at. Honestly, it was just so much fun, such a fun game to watch.
Well, I
Uh,
wanted to come, but you wouldn't let me out of the bunker.
well, Griggs, the other game, which I did not stick around for, especially because Siena had a 19-point lead at one point, came right down to the buzzer too.
So you left early. Chad, you would have been the guy at the Stanford Cal football game that left early to beat traffic.
It was a long day. I actually was not planning on staying for that game at all. I was there for about 5 or 6 minutes of the game and had to get going, so that's why I would not stick for it.
You're everyone asking for your autographs and pictures. It's a long day for you, Chad.
Yeah.
I understand.
Mike, what do you think about tomorrow? Marist, Merrimack, Fairfield, Siena.
Uh, I'm gonna go with Merrimack and Siena to advance. I mean, let's see.
You're wrong, but you can go with it.
I'm with you, Chad. You have won me over. I'm going.
With
I,
who?
I, I, I think Merrimack Marist is going to be a fun game. I'll tell you what, Marist brought fans. They brought more fans than anybody I've seen other than St. Peter's brought, who was the closest team. And so I think this is going to be a Marist favored crowd, but I think Merrimack finds a way in the early game. I'm
Yeah,
going with
but I think it's Fairfield. I think
Fairfield in the upset. Yeah,
yeah.
mild upset.
I would love to see Merrimack win this tournament. They've. I would love it. They were robbed of a chance to play in the NCAA tournament because they weren't eligible for it as a transitional team before joining this conference. The sentimental pick for me is Merrimack.
over in the SoCon, it was quarterfinal round day, and it was upset day as well. Dorman, 3 out of 4 upsets in terms of seeding today.
Yeah, it was an upset day. Western Carolina Mercer, I think, was probably the best game of the day, but you could probably argue 3 other games were. Mercer got out to a big lead on West Carolina. It was about 15-3, and then West Carolina fought back the whole first half, got a small 1-point lead, I believe it was, at halftime. Second half went back and forth, big shot after the other. Mercer was definitely with them the whole way. Western Carolina hit a big 3 on a scramble play. Mercer was looking for an over in the back call. They didn't get it. Left an open shooter for 3, hits it with about 30 seconds to go, put them up 4, and they didn't look back. But it was a fantastic basketball game.
Yep. The other 2 games, actually, the other 3 games, Citadel actually stuck with East Tennessee State for most of that game. East Tennessee State went to the end. But Griggs, Greensboro and Furman both pull off the upsets as well.
They did. I mean, if you bought a ticket to the quarterfinals today and were at all 4 games, you got your money's worth. I want to give a shout out to the Citadel, who I know that they were the 8th seed, but at one point, I think it's one of their more successful seasons that I can remember. They didn't win the day, but oh my God, did they make East Tennessee sweat more than I bet they were expecting to. And they were the only better seeded team that won the day. Wofford, who had a tumultuous offseason and a great regular season, especially considering what they went through, their season kind of ends. Samford went down to Furman. And is this the one consequence of upsets, while it's exciting when they happen, is the path just so wide open for East Tennessee State that they're just going to blow through the rest of it?
East Tennessee State was swept on the season by Western Carolina.
They were.
So,
Yeah, if I had done my homework and had my notes, I would have remembered that. But you're right.
so I
Don't
would
have their
not be
attention.
shocked to see Western Carolina win again. Quite frankly, Mike, I'm going at this point in time. I'm taking Furman over Western Carolina. My original pick had been Wofford over Western Carolina. I'm going Furman over Western Carolina to win this whole thing.
Wow, yes, and it's wide open here. I mean, with all these upsets, all this carnage. I mean, it's East Tennessee State's tournament to lose. But it's I mean, yeah, Furman over Western Carolina. Yeah, that's definitely possible. I mean, the way it's going, it's upset city.
It's time again to return to the Stairway to 7. And
Which is,
we talked about the
am I
women's
right
games
that we've
falling
got
apart.
Stairway to 7 trending on Twitter? Whatever that means.
It's getting there. We're working on it. But look at these stories. What a day this was. We thought that this was the end of the Cinderella runs for Georgia Southern, who is playing in their 4th straight game, and Southern Miss, who was playing in their 3rd straight game. And Dorman, instead, these were 2 blowouts by Southern Miss and Georgia Southern.
Yes.
Never close. Total
Unbelievable.
blowouts. Southern was great. Southern Miss was really good, and Georgia Southern was even better. Georgia Southern got up like 18 in the first half, and it never got close. Coastal could never make a run on them. Georgia Southern is playing incredible basketball, the best they've played all season. That's easy to say because they weren't playing well all season. And at this point, I could see that these teams are I don't even think they're running on fumes. They're running on emotion here. So watch out. I think Southern Miss and Georgia Southern both could win, and one of them is going to win tomorrow. I'll say that.
Georgia Southern, shout out to Tyron Moore, 40 points today in this win over Coastal Carolina. I mean, he was amazing.
He was amazing. Couldn't miss.
But the only thing we got to say is there's a Troy team that has not played, that's very well rested, and a Marshall team is very well rested. Neither has played yet. That's the advantage these 2 teams will have tomorrow.
Yeah. So Troy, I think, has played better than anyone in the conference, but they've also played worse than everyone in the conference, depending on the night you got them. And I don't know what to expect tomorrow. If I were a gambling person, I would stay away from these games. Surely Marshall can win Georgia Southern. We're recording this live, or not? We're live on tape delay.
We'll get there in a minute, Griggs.
Is everybody aware of what's happening? Okay.
Yes, but people that are watching us have already know the results, unfortunately.
Okay.
But We are going to now move on to, let's jump over to the Big Sky Conference. Let's see if we got all the scores up. It did start, it did not go, yeah, it did get final now. Um, First round games, Mike, these were a pair of clunkers here. Neither the 10 or the 8 seed were competitive against Idaho and Idaho State.
And I'm guessing the Northern Arizona Idaho State it might have been an 8 point margin victory at the end, but it was it not
It was not
competitive?
even that close, no. Uh,
Yeah.
I think the bigger thing to discuss in this league, Griggs, is what's coming up tomorrow. Only
Yeah.
two of the quarterfinals, Idaho State Portland and Idaho Montana State. Can we see an upset?
I don't think so. Portland State won a lot of close games. I mean, a lot of close games, but Idaho State lost a lot of not close games. So I gotta like Portland State tomorrow. I'm actually more excited about the day after tomorrow. But if you're asking me if I'm expecting anything noteworthy tomorrow, I think it's all chalk.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think when we get to those other two quarters, then the semis, that's when this conference tournament's going to get fun.
Yeah.
Um, Dorman, it was opening round day in the CAA. Our John Titel was there. He's got a great article up that they just put on the site of everything he saw. But quite frankly, I think he saw four pretty lousy games.
Yeah, not much excitement here. The
I
line,
applaud John Titel loudly for his beautiful coverage of four crappy games.
Even the
yeah,
games, even the final scores that look kind of close here, like Towson,
weren't close.
they were not. No, they weren't.
Yeah. But tomorrow, I think we're going to get some good basketball games. We got 4 quarters tomorrow. Look for the Monmouth Drexel. Drexel was up big today. That should be a very good competitive game. And if William and Mary plays that well again today, they could give Hofstra and Speedy Claxton, his team, a run for their money. So exciting day, I think, coming in the quarters tomorrow at the CAA.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is going to be a fun one tomorrow. Let's take a look at the West Coast Conference. The Pacific Seattle game going on as we record this. It's actually a close game at halftime, but we did see San Francisco Griggs take care of Portland fairly easily earlier tonight.
Yeah, they did. They actually played with their food a little bit, but then blew it open, I think after about 15 minutes or so. So pretty chalky so far, no surprise. I'm a little surprised that Seattle Pacific game is the one that we were kind of looking forward to. I thought Seattle would handle them, but they haven't so far, even though they're the lower seed.
I think whoever does win this game could be an interesting game tomorrow night against Santa Clara. Mike, Oregon State, San Francisco. Any thoughts on that game at all for tomorrow night?
Not really. I just wanted to go back to San Francisco, Portland. Portland was playing their third game in 3 days, where San Francisco, the first game, so they were a lot fresher, and I think that showed in tonight's game. They had the fresher legs. As for Oregon State, San Francisco, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree with you, Mike. My thoughts are that I have no thoughts.
I look for
Yeah.
the
let's
Dons to win that game by upset by the seed only,
Do
but
you really?
I think San Francisco's the better team. I think Coach Tinkle's last game will be tomorrow night for the Beavers.
and Oregon State's last game potentially in the West Coast Conference as well. So
That's
we
correct.
just saw a score flash up on the screen as we were recording this. Griggs, you were trying to hint at it before. Go ahead and talk about it. North Dakota just pulls off the upset of St. Thomas by a point and a great finish, a great game.
And I would like to apologize to St. Thomas because the reason they lost this game is because I picked them to win this game. And the whole tournament. And St. Thomas, an incredible year, a recent transitional team from Division 3, was it 24 or 25 overall wins? They were in a position to finish first in the conference, but North Dakota hung around and hung around and hung around, and every time it looked like St. Thomas was getting kind of control of the game, they would go up by 2 or 3 possessions. North Dakota had an answer, and there was a foul with a tenth of a second left in the game after St. Thomas had what looked like was going to be the last possession. They ended up turning it over, and North Dakota hits one of two free throws and wins in a really big upset. So I was really kind of, I mean, I'm happy for North Dakota, but I was really kind of looking forward to St. Thomas, North Dakota State tomorrow. But we get North Dakota and North Dakota State a big rivalry, and the game is in Sioux Falls, which is in South Dakota State, which is sort of like being in North Dakota, only it's in the
Most of us here on the East Coast don't know the difference between North Dakota and South Dakota anyhow, so right.
right.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh, Dorman, what do you think? Do you think North Dakota has any shot tomorrow against North Dakota State, who just blew out Omaha today?
this is going to be a
I
wild
do.
game.
This can be a wild game, is right. You got an in-state rivalry. You have a tournament bid on the line. North Dakota is coming off a crazy, unbelievable, huge upset of the Tommies. With Griggs just told us hit a free throw with point 0.1 to take to win, so they're in the title game. North Dakota State, the 1 seed, looking to have this bid all year, wanting to go to the tournament, and now their in-state rival is in front of them. So I think this is going to be great theater. I wanted to see the Tommies too. I picked the Tommies, but if we can't get that, let's see an in-state rivalry for a tournament bid on the line.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for the games that were played today, but we're going back to a few other conferences tomorrow that we're not playing today. Two more that start already. We're returning to the Patriot League tomorrow. Mike, it is semifinal round day. BU at Navy, Colgate at Lehigh.
Yeah, chalk prevailed from the previous round. And these are
Barely
campus.
in every
Yeah,
case.
yeah,
Navy.
barely. But the motto is survive, just like with any tournament, survive and advance. And yeah, with the exception of Colgate over Loyola of Maryland, all the other games are very close. Two of them within one score. Like, I mean, it's anybody's tournament. I'll go with Navy, but that's really not going out on a limb. But I wouldn't be surprised if another team ended up winning this tournament.
Yeah, I
Really?
think
Yeah.
we
I
may
like
see.
Navy.
I
I
like
think we're
Navy.
going to see a road win though with Colgate going to
Mm.
Lehigh and winning. Uh, Honestly, Colgate was the second best team most of the season in this conference. They had a few late losses that dropped them to the 3 seed. I think they
You
bounced
might
back.
not. I was really like, it got my attention how much Navy struggled against Bucknell. I thought they would boat race them, and they didn't. They're clearly better than Boston U, but they better play better than they did against Bucknell because Boston U is a lot better than Bucknell.
Uh, Dortmund, we're back in action in the Horizon League tomorrow with the in between the quintuple final and semifinal day. It's the middle finals. I don't know what we call it, but we
This
do
is
have
what
Green Bay
happens
playing
when
Northern
ADs
Kentucky.
get together and have too much to drink. This bracket.
Very strange format, to say the least.
The Fighting Gottliebs of Green Bay are going to play Northern Kentucky. I like Green Bay in this game. I
I
thought
do too.
Gottlieb had a terrific year, got over the hump in a home game with Green Bay. I thought they had a great crowd support. But this one moves to Indy now tomorrow, so I don't know how the support will be for the Phoenix of Green Bay, but we will see. But I still like Gottlieb to pull the victory over Northern Kentucky and move on to see the top-seeded Wright State Raiders.
Yeah, Doug Gottlieb, coaching Green Bay, he interacts with us some now. I once said he was good at yelling, but not much else. I take it back. I am very, very legitimately impressed with the job he's done at Green Bay and how much better they are than they were a year ago. He's good at coaching. In 2 years ago, I thought that would have been a hilariously incorrect comment, but he is.
We'll talk about it again tomorrow night if assuming they get by Northern Kentucky, because you never
Yeah.
know in this conference. But I think not only they beat Northern Kentucky, I think they may be winning another game in this conference tournament. I'll throw that out there.
With you.
Chad, is it wrong that I'm turning into a fan of Doug Gottlieb?
Oh, geez. One more conference underway tomorrow, and we are kicking things off. It's a brand new league we have not even looked at yet. It is opening round day in the Southland tournament, and I know you guys are thrilled. Griggs, New Orleans, Houston Christian, Nichols, Northwestern State. Give me some hot takes on these two games.
Okay, well, the fire marshal has been called, and he said, "Why are you calling me?" Uh, this game
Oh.
might be the most sparsely attended conference tournament game ever. I will say this about New Orleans: they have a collection of talent, and they did have some big wins out of conference, most notably TCU. But God, they underperformed and just nowhere near the sum of their parts. I do think they'll beat Houston Christian. the Nichols Northwestern State game, it's just one of those, is this one of those South Park Little League episode games to where they're both trying to lose on purpose just to end their misery?
Oh, geez. Let's go to the bigger question here. Dorman, let me start with you. Mike, I'll get your take after his. Who wins the Southland tournament? And really, I assume it's going to be SFA or McNeese, but who wins the Southland tournament?
You got it, Chad. I really excited. Tomorrow we might not see the greatest basketball, but come Tuesday and Wednesday, the Southland's going to get real exciting. I do want to see SF Austin play McNeese one more time. I'm going with McNeese to beat them. I'm going McNeese.
Uh, Mike, you go with McNeese also? These games are on their home court, even though they're the 2 seed.
Uh, yeah, that is very true. That's a good point. I mean, SFA is the higher seed, but McNeese is really the de facto home team. Um, yeah, I'll go with McNeese. I mean, and for me, it's like, hey, that helps Michigan's resume. Not that they need it. They did beat McNeese by a lot, so
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's going to really tip the scales towards
yeah.
Michigan
Yeah,
might get a
that
one.
will be. That will be the difference.
You know what? I'm going to want to go on the limb. I'm going to take SFA over McNeese in that championship.
Okay, this is where I am, Chad. SFA is the better team who had the better season, but they're not so much better that they can win what is going to be probably a really bonkers atmosphere at McNeese. McNeese wins, and this is disgusting. That the lower seeded, weaker, that they would host that game at home, even though SFA is better.
Well, you know what this was? Is that McNeese was ready to leave the conference. And this
Yeah,
was the deal to keep McNeese at the conference. And SFA, along with the rest of the league, agreed to it, agreed
they
to give
did.
McNeese
I'm
the
not
conference tournament.
saying I don't understand. I'm just saying that that's bull crap. But you're right. Uh, McNeese is in the league and they're hosting the tournament. And McNeese is talented, super talented. Them High Point, they're one of those under the radar teams that spins big on NIL money and gets talent. But SFA had the better year, and they're the better team, but they're not so much better that they can beat McNeese on their court in that atmosphere. I just think McNeese wins that game.
Um, let's jump over and take a look at our survival board. This is up there on the website. It's a tool we do for the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee to help them know
Yes.
who to pick when they start meeting in a few days here next
Yeah.
week. Um, and we also track how many teams are left with a shot to win it all. And heading into the day today, there were 269 teams left with a chance to win the championship.
Yes.
As a result of today's action, up until the time we started this show, down to 237.
Wow.
Big jump today.
Big
And
jump.
quite frankly, now we
32
got
eliminations, and we got two more to come.
the three more. It'll be actually be at
Three more.
234 because the Big Sky game that went final as we started is not on there, nor the Summit that just went final, and there's still a West Coast game. So by tomorrow morning, it'll be 234 teams left.
Yeah, so you're in the final two. You're not in the final four, but you're in the final 234. And if you want to hang a banner, that's awesome.
And this is also a service we do for the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee, Griggs. We have teams listed in
It
different
is.
colors. Explain that.
Yes, well, it's a service we do for the selection committee because the selection committee, as we know, is made up of conference commissioners and athletic directors, many of whom are watching right now. And these are busy people. Like one of the things at these conference tournaments that these athletic directors have to do is find places for the donors and fans to have dinner. And like things they do around the office, like the copy machine, it needs paper, and all the pencils need sharpening, and you need pens. Like you just need a lot of office supplies. They have to manage that, and they don't have time to watch a lot of basketball. So we have this tool for them to help them out.
Okay. And there's teams in different colors here. For example, we have teams that are in blue, like
Yes.
Illinois. What does that mean?
Oh, it means they're locked. It means that you don't even have to think about it. You can just come to this board and see that Illinois is in blue, and then you select Illinois.
What about these teams that are blue and all bold? This is the first time we've seen these this year. Long Island and
Oh my
Tennessee
God. Yeah, we
State.
have these are automatic bids. Now, you know that it's a 68 team tournament. The committee might not be aware of this, but 31 teams get in automatically. They don't even need to select them. And we're just letting them know who those teams are.
What if the committee comes to this site and they say, well, you know what? I was watching the Championship Week video notebook and they discussed Air Force. I forget what they discussed, but they mentioned Air Force. Maybe they should get an at-large bid.
In Air Force, it's a good institution. It's one of the more elite institutions in the country. It's one of the most exclusive, and I can understand. Well, if they're exclusive in their academics, and like if it's that hard to get in, they probably have outstanding basketball. But this is why we do this, Chad. We do this to help them out. They come to this board and they realize, no, we should not select Air Force. They, in fact, have very, very bad basketball.
And finally, well, stick with the Mountain West. We mentioned that New Mexico lost today. What if they're
Yes.
coming here to debate New Mexico?
Well, this is where the selection committee gets very aggravated with us and with you in particular. You don't need me to tell you that. Uh, they look at New Mexico and they say it's green, and what we tell them is, well, you need to discuss them amongst yourself and decide for yourself. We're not deciding that for you.
Right.
And isn't that hard for you, Chad? Like,
It is. They call me a lot and say
yes.
I've gotten a half dozen calls about Auburn already today, and I'm like,
Yeah, and Auburn's in green, and if we were to change Auburn's color, you wouldn't be getting calls about them.
did not get
But
any calls at all today about Mississippi State.
yeah, well, because they know. I mean, they come to this board and they see Mississippi State is what the hell?
Quick side note
Oh,
before we move on here. BYU just did finish off Texas Tech. Uh, Stormed the court for some reason. I have no idea why, but a battle of two teams that are pretty beat up.
BYU stormed the court. Well, yeah,
It was
okay.
senior day for AJ
Oh,
Devonson.
okay, yeah.
But BYU gets that nice win. Arizona looks like they're finally trying to beat Colorado here, and that Seattle Pacific game's still close. And we could even have a story brewing in the Big West Conference where Hawaii is down at halftime to Long Beach State, which is a big
Hawaii's down the
surprise.
Long Beach State. Okay, see, I'm
Um,
watching conference tournaments.
but
That would be really Beach, a great program that has a crappy year this year. So,
but we've been discussing the new Griggs AI, and
yeah,
it's been pretty base in a bonnet so far, Griggs, because I have not enjoyed and there's two
well,
contacts, and neither contact buttons work, and I really want
so
my money back at this point.
Well, Greg's AI, what I don't understand is how it could be trending on Twitter, but how no one is buying subscriptions. I've sold one.
To me, seven hundred
Yes, to
dollars,
you.
and I'm not
And more
like
people
eighty
should want
dollars
this.
in
This is an
YouTube.
amazing tool.
Well, I did it again. I spent another $5 for another question.
Okay.
I
And
fed
these
it.
are basketball related questions. Yes.
I fed it into another AI engine first to see what that says, just so we can compare. This was about Miami, Ohio. There's a lot
Yeah.
of talk about Miami, Ohio, whether or not they should be an at-large team if they don't win the conference tournament. Will the selection committee select them? And there's an in-depth analysis here about the perfect 31-0 in season, 13 true road wins, solid net, uh, and they say yes, that they will be. Yeah.
And I agree with that answer. And I mean, just because I'm so much better than other AI engines doesn't mean that I disagree with them all the time.
Well, let's go into your AI engine here, where we ask it the
Yes.
same exact question, and
Let's
let's
see.
run the
There's
program
a
here.
lot of talk. Okay. This is Miami, Ohio.
Miami, Ohio. Let's
And
find out what Griggs AI says.
Greg's AI.
The Miami Hurricanes under coach Jim Laraniga made an Elite Eight and a Final Four. With that kind of recent success, it's hard to imagine the committee not selecting Miami, Ohio after they won 31 regular season games. Miami was also the last NFL team to go undefeated and has won 2 World Series championships, and the selection committee did not leave them out those years.
I think you got your money's worth, Chad.
Yeah, Chad, that'll be another $5.
That's
I,
funny.
I'm speaking. Let's just go to final thoughts, Mike.
Um, yeah, just we're in full swing. First of all, congratulations to Long Island and Tennessee State. They're the first two teams to punch their tickets, and tomorrow we're going to have at least a couple more. I don't know the exact number,
Four
but
more tomorrow.
four more tomorrow. So the action just continues to be exciting, and lots of upsets today. And then I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be any upsets tomorrow. Uh, Hopefully at 4:30 here in Ann Arbor, an upset will not happen. Uh, But yeah, there's lots of action. The major conferences wrap up play tomorrow, and they're gonna start their tournaments later on this week, starting at Tuesday. So just more and more excitement.
Yep, a
You
lot
going
of
the
these
game,
brackets.
Mike?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
gonna be
All right,
electric.
to get you on, we definitely need a report tomorrow night, Mike.
Yeah.
I'll just note here also, we've got a lot of the major, but several of the conferences did finish up today. There's a lot more brackets up there. We'll get a few more up tonight before I go to bed.
Mhm.
We will have every single bracket by the end of the day tomorrow, though. Dorman.
To the MEC we go. I complain about this every year. The transition rule stinks. It needs to go. It's awful. If you're in Division One basketball, you should be eligible to make the NCAA tournament. And I don't understand the rule because there's no reason you could ever tell me if a team's in Division One basketball why they can't play in the tournament. So the NEC this year, I have a problem with them too, because if Mercyhurst can't be in the tournament, why are they in your tournament, in your conference tournament? You're hurting your own product here.
Yeah.
I love
I
Mercyhurst.
agree.
I have no problem with Mercyhurst. I think it's a great story. I think they're should absolutely be eligible to win that game on later this week against Long Island. And then you should be absolutely eligible right away. I think the rule needs to be changed. After saying that, make sure you watch this championship game because I am telling you, on Long Island, at home, the place is going to be jumping. It's going to be absolutely bonkers. I know they know they wrapped it up. It's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a party. I think it's going to be a great basketball game because Mercyhurst will be game and ready to play. So I think it'll be a great atmosphere, a great game. But the transition period rule needs to be changed.
I want to throw one more little note out here before I go to you, Griggs. South Alabama, they lost in the Sun Belt tournament a couple of nights ago. If you remember last year, there was a crazy situation where they got an NIT invite but didn't answer the call quick enough.
Yes.
They lost
Yeah.
it. But the NCAA promised them as long as they met certain performance minimums this season, they would get an NIT invite if they did not get the NCAA tournament bid. They met those with 21 wins. And they are going to the NIT to make up for last year. So congrats to them, at least for that.
Yeah.
Go Jags.
And good for the NCAA for making up for what was a horrible mistake last year for them.
Yeah.
But Griggs, you want to finish off the show?
Yes. I would like to just give, but first, before my final thought, Brian Black, he's a good friend of ours. He does a lot of fundraising and charity work to raise awareness for epilepsy. Be sure you follow him and try and donate to his charity if you can. And as for my final thought,
You know what, Griggs? You don't forget that Griggs AI.
What?
I'm not giving you a final
I-
thought.
I-
You're out.
I'd
You're
like to
out.
give my
It's
final
over.
thought.
No, you're done. We're done. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll be back in tomorrow night with another video notebook. And here, coming up Monday, we're going to throw a bracket rundown show at you as well as video notebooks. So just look forward to that sometime Monday night as well. But on behalf of David Dorman, Mike Cha, and
My final thought.
Go to, no,
Lockdown.
you're gone. Show over. Good night, everybody.